Hi guys, my name is Dhruv. I'm going to talk to you today about my GMAT Focus experience and how target test prep was really instrumental in helping me get the score that I did. So a little bit about my background. I'm currently a second year graduate student at the Batten School of Public Policy and Leadership at the University of Virginia, and I'm pursuing my Master's of Public Policy. I'm doing that as a 3+1 program. So I also did my undergrad here at UVA in cognitive science, concentrated in computer science and linguistics. When I graduate at the end of the semester, so it's currently April, I'll be moving to San Francisco to work in the financial services industry as an investment banker. So my interest is for those, can probably be related to those who are planning to do a deferred MBA. So I'm currently in the deferred MBA process, application process, and I'm hoping to return to graduate school after about 3 to 4 years and pursue an MBA or a JD MBA. So a little bit about my interests and experiences. My background, I've worked in the finance sector through internships, despite not really studying finance. And I really come to enjoy the policy and the cognitive science studies and how they can supplement my education. And so when approaching my MBA applications, I thought it was really important to be able to supplement it through showing that I can perform well on the GMAT, since I have a bit more of an atypical background in terms of applying to a deferred MBA program and also not having a undergraduate degree or graduate degree in finance. So I first took my MBA back in January. So that was about 3 months ago. And that was after having completed the official GMAT like study materials. I brought the textbook that they provided, and I'd taken a couple practice exams. And I thought that I was in a pretty decent spot, but the actual GMAT Focus exam was definitely a little bit different. And I'll get into how target test prep, in my opinion, has been one of the best softwares for replicating how the actual exam is. But the way that the GMAT Focus is set up, it's a bit different than the original GMAT, with the way that you can go back and change questions, with the little bit change in curriculum. And so when I first taken my GMAT back in January, my original score was a 635. And on that, I had scored, a little bit across the spectrum there, not how I was hoping to perform. And so I had scored a 635. I had a 79 on Quant, an 86 on verbal, and a 79 on data analysis. And for me, I really wanted to get my data analysis and Quant scores up. And so that's when I, in January, started exploring different softwares to help me prepare for the GMAT Focus itself. And so Target Test Prep had come up in a number of different forums. I had a friend who recommended it. And what they had all said and what I'd all heard was that the software was really important in how it took a iterative approach to your learning. So it made sure that you learned a concept, it made sure you understood the concept. And this was really my experience, which is what I love about it, is that the way that the software works is it makes sure that you learn something, and then it makes sure that it's confirming everything you've learned before that. So it has a mission structure towards your learning, which has been really helpful in guiding how I approached my learning towards getting the GMAT score that I now have. The way that it works is that you take one module and you learn one set of concepts. You then take a number of quizzes that are in the easy, intermediate, and hard level questions, and then it constantly has you going back to make sure that you understand the concepts that were previously taught. So giving you a bit more of a timeline, I started my GMAT preparation back in, I would say, like September, October last year. That was not as focused. I took a couple of the official GMAT practice exams. I had gone through a little bit of the GMAT textbook. And I think that there was a level of, I have a STEM background. I thought that I was going to do really well. And it turned out that there are just a lot of foundations that you really need to relearn, and a lot of rules and tricks and efficient ways to approaching questions that are a specific software for GMAT is really important to do. And so before TTP, that's what I had done. I had taken my GMAT in January. And then when I got my score in January, again, the 635, I knew that I wanted to, and that I could get my score up a good amount. So then I enrolled in TTP in January. I did 2 months of TTP. So that was January and February. And then I retook my GMAT Focus in March. So the way that TTP, the way that I approached it is I made sure to utilize a lot of its mission modules. I made sure to go through concepts that I had like a background understanding of, but I didn't really remember or know all the efficient rules and the tricks for answering the questions. And the software, what's really nice, and this is something you'll probably see if you if you do it, it teaches a concept and then it shows you, it has you go through practice questions. It tells you like, this is what you need to make sure that you take away from this module. This is what you need to make sure that you learn. And then it has you kind of apply those again. And so then at the end of a specific module, I'll take a number of quizzes that are reviewing my mistakes from the previous module, going over modules before that, and making sure that I've iteratively learned all the different things that I need to know to perform in the exam. I think the way that the mission structure of TTP is really effective because it teaches you concepts in a way that are meant to be additive. And so you'll learn some of your really strong foundations early on, and then you'll get different extrapolations from those concepts as you move forward. And so that was really helpful in helping me get my score up. And so my ultimate score, in the space was that I had a 755. My quant score, I was able to get it from a 79 up to an 85. My verbal score, I got it from an 86 up to a 90. And then my data analysis score, I got it from a 79 to an 88. And so 2 months of the software really was so helpful in shoring up my foundations, reconfirming knowledge that I may have learned back in early undergrad or in high school. And it was really, really helpful in that way. And so when I'm thinking about, what specifically made TTP stand apart from the official materials given by GMAT or given by other softwares, is that real, like that focus on making sure that you understand why a question's asking what it is. You're understanding, specific rules that make sure that that like you're able to identify what the question's getting at. And so I think a lot of with the GMAT focus, since you're on a bit of a time crunch, is you want to be able to look at a question and know, hey, this is what the question's getting at. This is how I should approach it. And I think a lot of us, if we had unlimited time, we would perform really well on the GMAT. But the thing is that when you have that kind of limited time, you want to be able to see a question and quickly identify what it's asking you. And that's what TTP focuses on. It makes sure that you understand your core foundations. It makes sure you understand different concepts. And then it makes sure that when you see a question, and this is where I think TTP really did a good job of formatting their questions in a similar way to the GMAT exam, is that when you see a question, like, hey, this is the concept that it's testing me. This question is testing me about specific permutations. This question is testing me about how to do a probability like basis model or something like that. And that was really helpful. And so when I'm thinking about like personal advice for GMAT preparation, I think being able to consistently go at the material is really helpful. And I think so, 2 months was, a shorter period of time, but also it was on the longer end. And I think that was really nice in being able to make sure that I was consistently putting in the effort towards making sure that I learned the materials and was going to perform well on the GMAT. I think one thing that's really nice about TTP also is that it makes sure that the different concepts that are taught in separate sections, it teaches you those concepts and then it makes you apply them to both of the types of questions you would see in the different sections at the same time. So you'd see certain questions like data sufficiency questions that would come up in your data analysis or your in your data analysis section. And then you would see questions that are similar that you would see in the quant section. And the way the software approaches it is that you need to learn the concept, and then it has you do questions that you would see in the quant section and you would see in the data analysis section. And I think being able to bridge that and understand like, hey, this is the same concept that's being taught, this is the same thing that's being asked of me, is really helpful. And so I think overall, like I was really, really happy with my TTP experience. I think it was really important in helping me be able to quickly get my score up and redevelop my foundations, relearn new skills. I always joke with my friends actually, like, hey, this is a random math concept that I completely forgot about, but this is something that it's fun, it's good to know, but it's helpful in getting things done really quickly. And so I can't really recommend TTP enough. It was super helpful. The team was extremely easy to work with, and they're really nice people. And so, yeah, I'm really happy to see where I've come in just the 2 months. Awesome. Thank you.